Hello, Pulaski Patriots. It's Miss Hagray, your superhero school counselor. I know you miss being at school, so I wanted to bring some of your school day to you. Today, I'm going to read the story, Same Way Ben. He didn't like change, but a big change happened at school. Let's see how Ben handles it. Same Way Ben. Same Way Ben by Marianne Coco Leffler. Ben liked things the same way every day. When Ben dressed for school, he always wore his favorite overalls with his red striped shirt. When he got off the bus, his teacher, Mrs. Garcia, always patted his head and said, "Hello, Ben, my buddy." Ben sat at the same green table with his best friend, Cammy. And he always ate chicken strips and a shiny apple for lunch. Life was the same every day until it wasn't. "Hello, Benjamin." Ben looked up. It was Mr. Elliot, the music teacher. Ben didn't like to be called Benjamin. If Mrs. Garcia were here, she would know that. In the classroom, Mr. Elliot made an announcement. "I will be your teacher for the next 6 weeks. Mrs. Garcia had her baby. It's a boy. His name is Brody." Everyone cheered except Ben. Next, Mr. Elliot passed out paper and paints. He played loud music. "Listen to the music and paint what you hear," he told the class. "Mrs. Garcia never plays music in the morning," said Ben. "We always have reading first." "Benjamin, today we are changing things up," said Mr. Elliot. Ben didn't like music in the morning. If Mrs. Garcia were here, she would know that. But Ben still sat at the green table, played with his best friend Cammy, and ate chicken strips for lunch. Life was almost the same every day until it wasn't. On Monday, Mr. Elliot moved all the tables around. Cammy went to sit at the yellow table. "Mrs. Garcia never moves the table," said Ben. "The green table is always in the corner near the cubbies." "Benjamin, today we are changing things up," said Mr. Elliot. But Ben didn't like when the tables were moved. "If Mrs. Garcia were here, she would know that," said Ben. "We're having some special guests for lunch," said Mr. Elliot. "I made us blueberry and cream cheese bagels to share." But Ben just stood in the middle of the classroom. He didn't know what to do, or where to sit, or even what to eat. Suddenly, he said, "My name is not Benjamin. I want to sit with Cammy at the green table. I want chicken strips and apples for lunch, and I want Miss Garcia." Ben began to cry. Just then, He felt a pat on his head. Hello, Ben, my buddy. Mrs. Garcia, you're here. I'm just visiting for lunch today. I wanted the class to meet Brody. Mrs. Garcia, I miss you, Ben said. Nothing is the same. Mr. Elliot is changing everything. Mrs. Garcia leaned in. Ben, can I tell you something? Sure, Miss Garcia. My new baby changed everything for me too. He did? Ben asked. But guess what? Said Mrs. Garcia. Changes make life exciting, just like an adventure. Mrs. Garcia noticed Ben's painting on the board. Ben, is this yours? It's beautiful. We painted to music, said Ben. Well, we never did that before, said Mrs. Garcia. And you are becoming a very good artist. I am? Ben looked at his painting and smiled. Mrs. Garcia handed Ben a bagel. Let's have lunch together. Ben took a nibble, then a larger bite, and then guess what? He ate the whole bagel. I didn't know you liked blueberry and cream cheese bagels, Mrs. Garcia said. I didn't know either, said Ben. The next day, Ben wore his favorite overalls with a blue shirt, sat at the yellow table with his friends Cammy and Poppy, and ate pizza for lunch. And before he knew it, Mrs. Garcia was back for good. But for Ben, life was never the same. It was an adventure. So, boys and girls, not being able to go to school has been a big change for all of us. Mommies, daddies, teachers, you, and myself. But let's think about some things we can do while we're at home. We can play games with our family, listen to stories like this, practice our reading and math, and many other fun things. Let's treat this time at home like an adventure. I enjoyed reading to you today, and I will post another video soon. Bye-bye.